We started at 60K. After that, we are now at 100K plus. We have 3 founders. One founder is fully out of operations. Me, myself, I'm 60% out of operations. Now we have the right processes in place where we can grow, can actually scale the agency with the video content you guys gave us, like the blueprints. It was just plug and play. Ready framework, get it started, get all the tools implemented, and then you're up and running. And then with the right team members, the hiring system is amazing. I was surprised how fast it went, how fast it changed. Previously, it was hoping that this person would fit. Now it's a very good hiring system with a good screening. We hired a personal assistant through the hiring framework, and then I found a brilliant personal assistant. Really happy with her. I think in 1 month she did 60 tasks that I normally would have done myself. Before we were all really stressed. We were not enjoying the ride. The place was on fire all the time. I think I grow as a person, as business leader, for me personally, gave a lot of rest in my head. We were actually working on the correct things to scale the agency.
And we're not talking about small improvements. We're talking about improving the whole operations, getting you out, a player team, and a huge jump in revenue. I'm here with Mees from the Netherlands. Mees runs a digital agency, and Mees, super excited to have you with us. You've done some really good progress along with your business partners with us in the last few months this year. So yeah, excited to have you here and to share the journey a little bit.
Yes, thank you, Guy. It was a great experience. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, 100%. Tell us a little bit when we got started earlier in the year, right? What was the situation of the agency back then? Run us through a little bit. How did it look like? What was the situation?
Agency was doing okay, I think, in my head at that time. We were still working a lot in like production, mainly focusing on doing the actual work instead of building the business, getting it at a higher level. So it was not that bad. But when we started working with you guys, we saw like, okay, we need to make some huge improvements to save up time for ourselves, to not work like 14 hours a day, to keep things up and running. So that was the situation.
I remember you were also in a big transition phase back then,
Yeah.
restructuring the agency. So walk us through a little bit. How did it look like operationally? How many hours were you spending yourself still in the operations? Your 3 co-founders. So how much were you still involved in the operations at the beginning?
For me, for sure, 90% in the actual doing the work for the clients instead of building the business. So yeah, I think on a workday from 12 hours, I think 10 hours was still doing the client work and stuff, not actually building the business. We have 3 founders, so it was not exactly pinpoint what is he going to do, what am I going to do. After that, we started with you guys. It was way better with, okay, Bram is going to focus on sales and marketing. Actually, we'll have like the pinpoints. Okay, we need to do this besides the client work that need to get done. Also transitioning stuff over to the team. Yeah, teaching the team more things and give them more responsibility, because we were just thinking like, okay, we need to do it ourselves because nobody else can do it. But that's just a huge mindset thing that changed since we started working with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's great. And so we started around 5 months ago, right? And back then you told us around 60K in revenue, right? And tell us, how is the situation now? Fast forward 5, 6 months later, what's the situation?
Yeah, we started at 60K when we started with you guys. Of course, in the beginning, there was a little bit of struggle because we needed to change our mindset. But after that, we are now at 100K plus. So that's almost double of what we had. That's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, so that's nearly doubling it. And in terms of the operations, how is that looking right now?
Now, operations is looking very well right now. So we restructured the team, got some new team members in there, hired 3 new remote guys, 3 new in-house team members, delegated a lot to the team lead and other specialists inside the agency. And it's a big relief in my head. Like I don't have to
What
do
changed?
anything.
What changed for you on a day-to-day basis?
Actually, I'm doing things where I get energy from. I feel I'm working on the right stuff, like growing the agency. You actually see the result from it by growing the revenue. So yeah, that's a big plus.
And also, like you mentioned at the beginning, all 3 founders were a lot in the operations.
Yeah.
By how much has that changed now? And by how much are you still in there, or how much were you able to get out of it?
So one founder, he was also in the operations, also doing the client work. He's fully out of operations right now. Me, myself, I'm 60% out of operations. I'm chief of operations. So I'm still in that to manage it and stuff. I still like it. So no hassle on that. And my other founder, he's at 40% right now, also doing still some operations, but we are transitioning right now with one new hire possibly to get one founder fully out of it. So
Yeah.
I think in the next month we have 2 founders out of operations fully.
That's amazing. So from everybody in the operations to
Yeah.
now one completely out and the rest step by step transitioning out. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And I mean, how has this then allowed you to scale the agency? How has that shift in getting more on the business work done? How has that impacted the agency?
Yeah, of course, in the beginning it was a little bit of a struggle because you need to let go of things, and it was like, okay, is this going well? Are clients still going to be happy with this? But just giving your people the trust to actually take over those things and let go. I think that's a big thing as entrepreneur to focus on to get that right.
Yeah.
Normally, I would work client work and stuff, and then I would know in the back of my head I need to fix this, I need to fix all the systems or like get all these processes in place, and then I don't have time for it. So it's a big stress thing. 100 things to do that are long term, short term things. The time came free to do that. Now we
Mhm.
have the right processes in place where we can grow, where we
Yeah.
can actually scale the agency. So yeah, that's a big plus for me personally. Gave a lot of rest in my head, like, okay, we're actually working on the correct things to scale the agency.
And I think you made a great point with saying that you need to learn to have systems, but also a good team that you can trust. And so,
Yeah.
what gave you that trust that you now know, okay, I hired these team members, you said remote and in house, but you can trust them? So, what was it that you feel that made sure that you hired the right people?
I think 2 points. The first point was the personal coaching from you guys. Talked a lot over there, of course, because you need to make a mindset changes how to get this done and not keeping having the same thoughts about the stress points. And yeah,
Mhm.
Adele supported us in that, like, okay, think about this way to actually pinpoint work on this. You will see the results. So that worked a lot. And then with getting the right team members in, I think the hiring system is amazing. So
Mhm.
previously, it was not that good, and it was just like hoping that this person would fit. And now it's a very good hiring system with a good screening, with everything on point. Yeah, with the blueprint you guys gave us, it's just like fine tune it to your own agency, the own team culture. And then, yeah, I was surprised how fast it went, how
Yeah.
fast it changed, and how you could filter out like the good candidates for the remote guys, for example. But also like when we had the talks with the candidates, how structured everything is. They really like that with the expectations we have for the team members and also what they can expect from us. So I never had negative feedback about that. So that's really amazing. I'm also responsible for HR and recruitment. So that was one big plus. Yeah.
That's amazing because we see this a lot. You need great talent, great A players in your team, but they also need to come into a company where there's good structures, good systems, good operations, right? So, what do you think was helpful for you in the sense of setting up these operational structures and systems instead of like saying, I have to search this all for myself, like a lot of agency owners do from the beginning?
Yeah, for the operations side, it was more like how it goes. You need to research everything. You are testing out 10 different tools and then still don't know what works. With the video content you guys gave us, blueprints, it was just plug and play. Ready framework, get it started, get all the tools implemented. Before we started, I was thinking, oh shit, I need to implement all this. It's going to take a lot of time. But then when you actually are working on it, it's fixed in one day and then you're up and running. That's real nice.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, right? And we're not talking about small improvements. We're talking about
No.
improving the whole operations, getting you out a player team, and huge jump in revenue. That's amazing. And also, you hired an executive and a personal assistant as well, right? Someone that helps in
Yeah.
the company. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that
Yeah.
go, guys?
That's one of the first tips you guys gave us. Okay, search for a good personal assistant slash executive assistant that can take over the small tasks. They matter. They are taking away 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
We hired a personal assistant through the hiring framework. I found a brilliant personal assistant. Really happy with her. So she does everything for my private life, ordering supplements, getting my shit together. So he's doing a lot, and also on the business side. So we specifically hired someone that had also some business experience, that had previous work with other CEOs to get things done. And she now does a lot of work on the HR department, having contact with the team if they have questions. On the finance part, she's doing a lot of stuff. Let's say we have a management meeting, she comes up with all these summaries. I think in 1 month time, she did like 60 tasks that I
Wow.
normally would have done myself. So that's
Crazy. How much
amazing.
time that takes away from growing the business, right?
And for the personal assistant, in the beginning, a big mindset shift like, okay, we need to make the work SOPs, but it's like you do it one time, you do it good, and then it's outsourced forever.
100%.
That was one of the biggest changes. So to get that started, I would suggest for everyone to fix that immediately.
Yeah. And how has it made it easier for you using our templates in our system to hire this person?
Normally you get some research done in ChatGPT, but it's now like, okay, this is the frameworks. You need to go through these steps, the screening questions, this personality matching with what we need. So gave all real clear view of what we need, what I actually want. And then I just started the outsourcing, getting the new candidates in. Also the screening that was before a very hassle thing to do, yeah, shitty thing to do, like, okay, going through 100 candidates, and now with the jot form you guys suggested, just like pinpointing or selecting the best candidates and then have the pre-call and do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's a blueprint. So it's just copying it, following the steps, and then you see the result.
That sounds really good, Miss. And I mean, what were the things you feel like out of the time working together you've enjoyed the most?
Yeah, we had the mastermind, of course. I really liked the mastermind in Budapest. That was a great event where we got to know a lot of agency owners and got to know Adele and you a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. I really liked the one-on-one sessions with Adele. So was not only about talking about business, but how it goes with the mindset things to get you the energy to keep going. Because in the beginning, it will be different from how you did it.
Amazing. How would you say have you transformed as a business owner? Because you've implemented all these systems, processes, team, the revenue has jumped. I mean, if you look back as founders from how you were 6 months ago, how have you
Yeah.
leveled up?
Yeah, the leadership is one big thing. So delegating a lot of stuff, getting your team on the right track, motivating them. So before we were all really stressed, we were not enjoying the ride. The place was on fire all the time.
Yeah.
So that changed a lot, delegating a lot of stuff like leadership. Personal growth is also a big thing. That's one thing you guys push on also, get your personal life together. You need to think different. So yeah, I think I grew as a person, as a business leader.
That's super good. Nice. And so to finalize, Mace, what would you tell someone who is in a similar situation, considering also getting help from us to grow their agency?
Yeah, I would suggest to get on with it, because if you don't change yourself, nothing will change. Also, not in the agency. You will keep doing the same shit for like 3 years, nothing will change. So at the beginning, you will think, do I need to do this? Is it worth the investment? I would suggest just start with it. You will open up your mind on how to do this and get an easier life as entrepreneur, because sometimes it's hard. You need to do a lot of things yourself. I think just start with it, and then you will see all the advantages of it. You will grow as a person, as business leader. You will meet great people that are on the same wavelength as you. So yeah, all big points.
Amazing. Mace, super excited to see and continue seeing your journey as you guys are developing in your agency. And super nice to
Yeah,
have you on board here. Excited for what's to come. Thank you so much for sharing your experience today.
no problem. Thanks, Gideon.